Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the NIN Ventures Investor Call. I am Nin, and I will be your host. Let's start with my background. I started my professional career at Merrill Lynch with their private client group. At Merrill, we managed portfolios of high net worth individuals. While it was great to trade stocks and bonds, I was always curious about how these companies went public. Thus, after business school, I joined Pacific Crest Securities. Pacific Crest Securities is a tech-focused investment bank with a global presence focused on software, communications, semiconductors, and internet and digital media. Here are I worked on at Pacific Crest. In 2005, IPOs were at the peak, and it was amazing to take all these companies public. But that led to another question. How do VCs know what companies to invest in and which ones to take public? Thus, I joined Alpha Capital Partners. Alpha is a generalist fund with about 135 million of assets under management. My most recent transaction at Alpha was Circon, a software as a service provider company. During my time at Alpha, I realized how inefficient the fundraising process was, not necessarily at Alpha, but in general. That's how NIN Ventures came into existence. NIN Ventures is a first of its kind technology venture capital fund to be marketed, raised, managed, and reported online. The general solicitation and general advertising under the Jobs Act and Rule 506C of the U.S. made it possible for us to raise this fund. This rule came into effect September 23rd, and we were the first ones to go live with a website and videos about our fund. NIN Ventures also became the first venture fund to be seen on a billboard, which was followed by in-taxi ads and other social media facilitated marketing. So what will NIN Ventures Technology Fund invest in? The fund will invest in Series A and B rounds and will write check anywhere from 1 to 5 million based on industry, sector, and stage. Our focus is primarily on financial services technology, education software, internet and digital media, mobile communication, cloud computing, 3D printing, and other path-making sectors within the United States. Let's begin with a basic question. Why venture capital? Historically, if you look at U.S. Venture Capital Index and the S&P 500, you will notice U.S. Venture Capital Index tends to outperform the S&P 500. Not only that, they have an inverse relationship. For example, your traditional portfolio consists of 70% stocks, 20% bonds, and 10% money market investment. With addition of venture capital, your portfolio can now be 60% stocks, 20% bonds, 10% money market, and 10% venture capital investment. The addition of venture capital will not only help you diversify your investment, it will help you mitigate the risk given the inverse correlationship between S&P 500 and U.S. Venture Capital Index. Same with your crowdfunding portfolio. Instead of taking 100% risk and investing in one company, you can now invest in venture capital that will invest in multiple companies on your behalf and will also be professionally managed by experts in the industry. So why venture capital and what is our strategy? Our strategy is to invest in early to growth stage path-breaking technology-focused companies. From 2002 to 2012, technology investments have dominated the venture capital industry. The highest amount of venture capital funding occurred in early to expansion stage companies. If you notice, from 2002 to 2011, sector-focused funds have outperformed generalist funds. And technology sector has outperformed the rest of the U.S. venture capital index. With early and expansion stage companies yielding the highest returns. Thus, NIN Ventures will invest in path-breaking early to growth stage technology companies. We will not only provide adequate financing, but will lend our domain expertise and network of partners to help companies with recruitment, PR and marketing, and also create a viable exit strategy. The strength of our team, the value of our network, and our funding that is designed to be an investment offering. So, who invests funds? One must be an accredited investor, verify themselves as an accredited investor before they can invest with us. An accredited investor, an individual with an income of more than $5,000 per year, or a joint income of $300,000 in each of the last 2 years, or has a net worth exceeding $1 million either individually or jointly with his or her spouse, excluding their primary residence. There are 3 ways to verify if you are an accredited investor: income, asset, and third-party verification. Credentials is our most preferred third-party verification method with a simple and confidential process at a click of the button. So how does the investment process work? Visit nin.vc to sign up. Sign up is simple. First name, last name, email, password, and acknowledge you are an accredited investor. Now, you get access to our marketing materials, that is PPM, investor presentation, and other suggested reading. You get invited to attend our events and calls. You can also schedule a one-on-one us at our office or online via Skype. Once you decide to make an investment, accept the risk and disclosure statement that will explain what venture capital investing is. The next step is to verify accreditation, followed by filling out subscription document and a W-9 form. The last step is payment, as simple as providing checking and routing number and the amount you wish to invest. I will now pass the presenter role to Rafe, who will talk a little about CrowdFunder and our association with them. Hi, Rafe, are you still there?
Hi, yeah. This is I'm Rafe Furst. I'm co-founder and senior vice president at CrowdFunder. I'll give you just a little bit of background, Nin, if that's okay, on myself and CrowdFunder, and then talk about, cool. So I've been a founding entrepreneur. This is my 4th time with CrowdFunder, starting a company and being on the founding team. And also over the last, since the late 90s in Silicon Valley, invested as an angel investor in about 30 different deals. So I'm very familiar with the venture seed space and you know what NIN Ventures is, the opportunity that NIN Ventures is addressing and allowing folks who wouldn't otherwise have exposure or access to this asset class to be able to get access. And that's one of the things that really excites me about NIN Ventures and about what we're doing at CrowdFunder with NIN. And you know, traditionally speaking, institutional investors have not been able to gain exposure to the asset class. And what we see over the last 30 years, if you had invested in every single angel deal across the board, you would have actually achieved an IRR of over 27%, even in the turbulent times. So it's an incredible asset class. It does have you know, high volatility, but the approach that NIN is taking with diversification really, in my mind, addresses that in a nice way. You know, at CrowdFunder, we have, since the Jobs Act regulations, the Title II Jobs Act regulations that NIN mentioned went into effect last fall, we've helped 22 companies, early stage companies, finish their seed or Series A deal to the tune of roughly $22 million in financing. Average size of the raise that the companies are doing is about 1.7 million. But we've helped folks who are raising between 500,000 and all the way up to 7 million. And it's across the board. One of the things we're also doing is helping funds, alternative funds, hedge funds, and venture funds like NIN Ventures raise capital, find limited partners into their fund. And CrowdFunder and NIN Ventures are sharing deal flow that we see with one another. And one of the ways that we do that is through the CrowdFunder Deal Flow Committee. Wanted to offer those of you on the call here a special invitation to join us for one of our committee meetings. And we meet virtually every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. We just had a really great call where Techstars, 500 startups, and the law firm Richardson Patel all presented top deals that they have invested in, and they were looking to share those deals with other committee members. There's about right now about 150 folks who alternatingly join these meetings, and we'd love to have you guys join us. So if you do want to, I'm just going to have you email me if you want to learn more about what we're doing at CrowdFunder and what we're doing with NIN at CrowdFunder. Please just email me. It's Rafe, R-A-F-E, at crowdfunder.com. I'm also going to text that into the chat box right now for those of you who are on the web. And why don't I stop there? And Nin, is there anything in particular that I forgot to address or you'd like me to speak to?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Cool.
Please note that venture capital is a high-risk, high-reward investment vehicle, and we strongly recommend reviewing the other suggested reading on our website before making any investment. On that note, we're open to questions. Please type your questions in the chat box, and we'll make sure we'll answer them all. Okay, so the first question is from John Goldberg. What is your preferred method of accreditation? John, there are 3 ways you can verify accreditation: income, asset, and third-party verification. Third-party verification is where you download a certificate from our website and get your CPA or investment advisor to sign that. And that certificate actually states that you are an accredited investor, and the person signing that certificate has looked at your credentials and required documents, and that's how, I guess, we'll verify accreditation. However, our most preferred method is credentials, and most of our clients so far have signed up using credentials third-party verification system. Any other questions?
Nin, one person suggested that they can't get audio. They're not hearing the audio. But I'm not sure if that's something on their end or your end. Yeah.
I think our end is fine. Maybe his computer did not really have audio capabilities, and he'll actually have to dial in using the phone number. Is he still on the conference call? Apparently not. I think he left. This presentation is actually recorded live, so I'll make sure that I send him a link of the presentation and a copy of our addresses. Once again, thank you all for being on the call. Sign up on nin.vc to begin your investment process today. You can reach us at contact@nin.vc or 312-953-0930 to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. Or, just if you have any questions or material requests, feel free to reach out to us. Have a wonderful day and happy investing.